This is indigenous people of Biafra. We are IPOB under one central command, under one leadership, under one directorate, under one coordination all over the world. There is only one indigenous people of Biafra. We are aware now. They want to establish fake groups. They want to deceive you. They want to cheat you. Some idiots may answer IPOB, but you must understand they're not one of us. It is the same thing as Boko Haram wearing police and army uniform to go and kill people. These people are not part of us and can never ever be. How will the products of APC? These are evil men and little boys. We must counter them wherever we see them. They are not IPOB. We have no government. The government of the indigenous people of Biafra is the indigenous people of Biafra. When the time comes, Biafrans will vote and decide who will govern them. Until then, we are not a government. We are servants of the people, as we shall continually demonstrate. Allow me to repeat what I said before. We are not a government, I tell you. I must warn and caution you. We are the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB. There is no government, there is no addition. Of course, we have an embassy, that is true. That embassy is not an organization. We don't run any other website apart from ipob.org. We don't have any other radio station on this earth apart from Radio Biafra. I'm aware that Awasa set up with APC, they set up 1 or 2 radio stations to answer our name as part of their subterfuge and ocean provocateur. But they will not prevail, they will not succeed. They cannot survive the heat because we are ordained, baptized in this very fire of truth and honesty. That is why we preach it without compromise. There is no other way to do it. We are the children of light. That is why we have come. Or should I say, that is why Chukwuka Biama determined that we should come. That is why this evening, as always, we must preach his gospel. No particular. We must preach it to the fullest. Only those who are blessed can partake or participate. Only those that seek knowledge. Only those that seek the light. Only those that seek the truth. The seekers of wisdom, the seekers of knowledge are welcome to partake and participate. Or else you are a non-entity. Here we assemble the children of the Most High. This is indigenous people of Biafra. We are IPOB under one central command, under one leadership, under one directorate, under one coordination.
Okay, if you are joining us previously, you will understand that we were also grappling with some technical issues, and then of course IPOB Community Radio is still not talking, so it is actually stopping the program that we have in Radio Biafra with the members of the DOS. So Mazichina Sanworu. So while we are actually trying to wait to see if the community radio is going to actually come on. We will continue with what we are doing while we are waiting for such for the radio to get back to working order, because our radio is down. Of course, you know that we are being attacked in every way possible. So maybe it is they have actually downed our radio. So, but we will get it back up. Definitely we will get it back up. We see disappointment every day, and it will never actually deter us or determine what we need to, do to succeed. It will not determine our success. So I just want us to continue where we stopped while we are waiting for the leadership to come online, because they have a very important subject to talk about. And we are live on Twitter as well. We are live on Twitter as well now. We are live on YouTube. We are live on Facebook. But our bad reception persists. It persists. But I believe we can do with it. We can continue the way we are. It is still better than the previous one. So, what we were reading before we actually called it a day was that the Niger coup leader, they decided to sever ties with France. But of course, you know the story. France refused to sever ties with them. Let me start it afresh so that we will be able to, catch up while we are waiting for our radio to start working. ECOWAS step up pressure on Niger coup leaders. West African military chief on Friday said a plan for a possible military intervention in Niger if coup leader do not stand down has been made earlier. France rejected the Niger junta's move to scrap bilateral military pacts, saying only Niger's legitimate leadership was entitled to do so. The news comes after the ECOWAS delegation left the capital of Niamey without meeting coup leader Abdurrahman Tiani. Read out, okay. Niger called for every ties that they have with France to be severed, but French rejected the call. There is another news. Okay, this one is Chad will not intervene in Niger coup. Defense minister says. So Chad has actually distanced themselves. They will not join the ECOWAS to intervene in the military coup. So when you look at what is going on there, you will understand that there is a lot of misunderstanding in ECOWAS right now as we speak. There is a lot of misunderstanding, and the reputation, they don't want to, they don't know how to lose their reputation. They were so in a hurry to come out to give, media statement. It has come now to the time where their media statement is going to come to the party. There is now a lot of, cold feet. There is now a lot of cold feet. because if any ECOWAS countries invade, if ECOWAS invade Niger Republic, and the ECOWAS citizens in those countries that made up ECOWAS did not take back their country for themselves, because once they engage, they will not fight war in two sides. They will not fight war in two different phases. That is exactly what you need to do if they want to go into Niger to disorganize, to destabilize, just like they did in Libya. You make sure you take back your country from these vultures who call themselves the leaders. That is the most important thing. It will now enable you to bring revolution. If you believe that it is democracy, you revolutionize the type of democracy that I have given you. So, make sure you are watching these people as they are planning to go and kill people. In this topic that you see here, I said that Africa might be, Africa might be one family, but share different surnames. Because the reason why I say Africa might be one family but share different surnames, it is actually a metaphor that I'm going to break down, because of course you have heard a call for African unity. You have heard a call for African, unity, which makes Africa, open borders for each other and make Africa to have a trade, free trade agreements. So when we are actually talking about African unity, it is because Africa was a one family, but with different surnames. In this aspect of different surnames, it is where the explanation begins. Because the name of every person determines what they are. Your name has a significant role to play in your lives. So that names is exactly what fixes you where you come from. That name is exactly what fixed you where you come from, because if you look, back to the antecedent of, Africa, you will understand that what's going on now has actually changed everything. What is happening changed everything. That is the reason why there are many people who made up Africa as a continent or as one family. There are even black people, there are brown people, there are, people with woolly hair, there are people with silk hair, hair texture. And that is exactly what has confused everywhere. And that is the reason why we will actually bring it to the context of Africa is, might be one family, but different surnames. And these surnames determines where you fit in and where you find yourself, and the type of people that you understand and the type of people that you deal with. That is exactly the reason why I say Africa might be one family but has, share different surnames. And when you share a different surname, it means that sometimes your parents are different. So since our parents are different, and then what we are seeing today, are we coming out on Facebook? Let me find out. 1 minute. Okay, what we are seeing today in Africa, it is the division among siblings and the unification of, two different people. I don't know if you are getting the system that need to be demolished. Because we are talking about the system of democracy that need to be demolished. The system of, the structural system that need to be demolished for Africa to actually attain, her freedom. If you cannot, destroy these systems, Africa will never achieve her freedom. And those system is the system that brought people who are not compatible with each other together, and separate people from those whom they were compatible with, which is called divide, conquer, and rule strategy. If we cannot deal with this divide, conquer, and rule strategy that has been implemented into our system and it becomes our status quo, we will never ever get Africa right. We will never ever get Africa working or to stand on her feet. You will never get infrastructural development, because through this system that you are going to uproot from your land as an African country, or as whatever you see yourself, be it you are in ECOWAS country, be it you are in East Africa, be it that you are in the southern or SADC region. So you will understand and appreciate one fact, that there has been a blunder done in the system that you are living on. And that blunder, until it is corrected, Africa will never go anywhere. It will never move forward. And that blunder was purposely set up there. That mistake was done deliberately, because it is a plan and a plot to make sure that Africa will never rise up onto, to challenge other big economies in the global stage. That Africa will never be a permanent member of, United Nations Security Council. They will always go there. They will always go there with, dress well, go to the United Nations Security Council, and they will speak as much as they want. After speech, there will be no implementation, and there will be no response from those whom you have spoken eloquently to. They ignore you, and you cannot do anything about it. And having seen that these people are doing this to you, it takes a leader who is actually, who knows the people that he is governing, who is actually involved with the suffering of the people, like you are connected to your people. It takes such leader that for a country to move forward. A leader that started from the grassroots, ground zero, not a leader that was born with a golden platter. This leader that is born with a golden platter, it means that somehow their parents were actually African leaders, which brought it now to fall on their table to become the leader, because it is the same people that has been governing you post-colonialism, immediately after colonialism, rather. Immediately after colonialism, those people that has been governing you, they are like the same people. You continue to recycle them. Looks like they belong to a particular fraternity, and this fraternity project how they will behave, project how they will govern, project for them everything that needs to be done in their own various countries. And while this projection allows those people who enacted it to be able to have access to your economy and to your resources. They will be able to determine how your economy is going to run for the year. They will be able to determine what will be the nature of your economy from the first quarter even to the third quarter of the year. They will determine it. They will be the one to rate it. They will be the one to qualify what the economy, stand to, profit from the global market. They will be the ones to tell you even how much is your goods and commodities. And they are the same people who are actually exploring and extracting those goods and commodities. When they are exploring and extracting those goods and commodities, whichever figure that they tell you, you will agree. Because they are the ones extracting it. They are the ones going to the market to market it. They are the ones buying it. So how exactly do you want to want these things to be profitable to you? How can I have my own property? I am selling my own property now. Okay, I have my property. A stranger just come into my property and tell me, you know what? This your property cannot be sold elsewhere. And, it cannot be sold by any other person. It can only be sold by me. Then you hand over the property. This property is sold by him. Your same property is bought by him. How do you think that they will actually do something like that in your own benefit? How do you think somebody will come and buy your goods, or an agent you give now your property to sell for you? This agent, maybe you are not exposed. This agent decided, instead of selling this property, let me buy it because there is a lot of profit. They have seen the potential of this property. So the potential they have seen, which you have not seen, the price you are actually willing to let it go, it is not even quarter of the price that the property is worth. So they have to now make a plan to buy it so that you don't change your mind to say, no, you are no longer selling. They buy it from you because that is you selling it. They sell it to themselves. Have you ever seen somebody selling property to themselves, cheating themselves? You cannot you cannot have a property and an agent is the one who is building this property. The agent is the one taking money from you, or maybe create the avenue where you are going to find people who are going to build this property. And building this property, agent will come and make a decision whether we are going to finish building this property or we are going to just build the skeleton of the property and market it. So when they build the skeleton of the property and market it, they know definitely you are not going to make profit much. They know what is their target. They have seen the potential of such property. They decided, no, let's buy it from you. We will do the finishing. If you are now interested in buying it back, then when we are done building it, you will come and buy it back. They give you maybe 1 million. They bought it because it is unfinished. Now they build that unfinished property. Build it, make it so fancy. Build it to the extent of, you just move in and start sleeping. No need to do anything. You move in. You don't know what it costs to build it. You don't know the process of building it. That's why they have to buy it from you, build it finish it, and now tell you now it is available for you to buy it back. You sold it to us. They know you sold it to them 1 million. Now they have built it. They spent only 2 million to build it. Now they will tell you, no, this property, if you want to buy it back from us, it is 20 million. They will charge you 20 million because it is moving, it is revolving around them. The whole world revolves around them. It is like you are running in a circle. They make you run in a circle that you don't know where to end or where is your beginning point or where to look back or where to stand and think, because it all looks the same. That's exactly what these people are doing to you. The more you look, the less you see. Because you don't want to get down and dirty. You want it to come as a fiat money. You don't want it to, you don't want to do something, this thing. You cannot get your resources and make use of it. Including gold. There are goldsmiths everywhere. There are goat's meat everywhere. Instead of extracting this gold, use it to make a finished product. Let the goat's meat make chains, make jewelries out of your gold that is coming out of your land. You decided, no, let me sell it to them. When they make jewelries, we buy it back from them. That is exactly the system we need to destroy. The same system is the system that actually separated you from the type of people that are compatible with you. The type of people that are compatible with you. Especially in that Sahel region. In that Sahel region. This displacement and displacement upon displacement, it is all the beginning of displacing you from your own people. Now you find yourself, because you've been running for your life, you find yourself aligning with other type of people with a different surname. And tomorrow they will be called your people. You will be called one. And you will be finding that friendship. You will be looking for that friendship. You will be looking for that connection. You will be looking for that relationship. You will be looking for that understanding. You will never find it amongst yourself. And to make matters worse, they remove the power of leadership from those who are able to think and give the power of leadership to those who love already made. They give power of leadership to already made lovers. And make sure it does not come to those who are actually willing to get down and dirty. Because getting down and dirty is one of the factors that you need in Africa in order to make use of the resources that God has blessed us with. In order to withhold these resources that God has blessed you with, if you withhold it, there is no way somebody will come and give you price that you must sell it. But because you want to let it go, because you don't know the value of it, they don't have a choice. They give you, this is amount you must sell it. This is amount you must produce. This is amount, you must sell to any other person. You cannot sell this to every other person. They must sign to reach this agreement before you will be able to sell your own property to somebody. Is that not ridiculous? That is quite ridiculous. This is exactly what these people does to you. And when you look back, you look at yourself, you say, yes, you are living. You are doing it. All your life you have been in a survival mode. Does not know how to come out of this survival mode. The reason why you will continue to be in your survival mode, it is simple. The people you call your leaders, they are not worthy or willing to come to the party in order to take you away from your survival mode by lending ordinary hands. It is not actually to carry you. Lending a hand. That's all you have asked for. You will never see them coming to the party. You will never see them lending such hands. The only thing you will see your leaders do, they will find a way to even pour water on you where you have fallen. They will find a way to make that land where you have fallen slippery, so that you will never be able to stand up to stand firm again. They made it difficult. It is the leadership in Africa, the type of leadership in Africa that actually suspends people from supporting each other. Because of the exploiting mindset of the leaders, it affected everybody. A black man will never trust a black man to give them something that is authentic. If you find something that is manufactured around you, you call it inferior. You call it, fake. Things that you innovated, you call it fake. How can you call your innovation fake? Because it is coming from you. It is original. Your innovation is never a fake. It is always original. It is a fake when another person tries to innovate something similar. Using your idea, that is when it becomes a fake. If you support any innovation, they will do better tomorrow. But the system made it so, difficult for people to support one another. System made it so difficult for you to support one another. If you find a vegetable, or you find a chicken that was reared around you, and you find imported chicken, especially in the Sahel region, you find imported chicken, they put up the price and they make your local chicken, to be cheap. They make it cheap. Now, they will put up the price of the imported goods that they are going to sell to you. They make the price to be very expensive. Do you know the reason? They are not making the price to be very expensive because it is more healthier than your local chicken. They make the price to be very expensive because they know that in your mind, anything that is more expensive is one thing that is original. You are always in the war with yourself. War with yourself to fit in a particular standard of life. When you know that you are not capable yet to be there, you try to do anything as much as you can to fit in, and that makes you now, I don't want to be there, go down and dirty anymore. I want it already made because I have arrived. Because you started getting salary of maybe 1 million, or because you started getting salary of 500,000. You have arrived. You don't want to think about any other thing. The only thing that is, you want to continuously thinking about, it is how to, fit yourself in a particular, level. Some of you will want to fit yourself in that level. They say that with a vehicle, or you want to buy a car that will be able to compete with those on top. You don't even know how those on top are making it. You want to compete with them. You want to see extravaganza. You want to actually join. At the end of the day, you know what it does to you? It places you under pressure. And when you are under pressure, you are in a survival mode. When you are in a survival mode, you will never be able to do anything productive. And when you cannot do anything productive, sometimes it boils down to what, medically that will be called, depression. From depression, your own is finished. From depression, you can commit suicide. From depression, you can even start being a serial killer. You can start committing one crime to another because of the system that was imposed to you. a demonic system that was imposed on you. And that demonic system is what we continue to fight to eliminate. That is the reason why we will continue to give our support to all this, to Niger Republic, because the people, I have not seen a protest in Niger Republic that is actually condemning the coup that took place a few weeks ago. We only saw protests that supports the coup, which means the people are actually involved. That is a kind of their revolution. So we are actually going to give them our support. It is a revolution. Call for change. Change shouldn't be what you will be scared to call for. Change. Niger is seen as one of the poorest countries. One of the poorest countries in Africa. Why? But they have uranium. They have petroleum. They have coal. And coal is being used for producing electrical energy all over Europe and America. Coal is being used for electrical energy, but these people, they do not even have electricity. Grappling Nigeria will now supply them electricity. Nigeria that have never had electricity like 24 hours in a day is supplying Niger electricity. Niger, they have uranium. From uranium, you can actually produce nuclear energy. You can produce nuclear fuel power plants. With uranium, you can produce nuclear reactor. You can produce many things with uranium. Uranium is what runs naval ship and submarine. With uranium, you can produce nuclear weapon. With uranium, you can produce isotopes. Isotopes are used for medicals. So uraniums are very vital, very, very important natural resources. Uranium. And they've been mining it. Yet they are one of the poorest countries in Africa. In land mass, they have a big land mass. They have land. So what exactly is making Niger Republic poor? Ever since we started knowing Niger Republic, we were told Niger Republic, that's where Fulanis are coming from. Fulanis from Niger Republic. People we know coming from Niger Republic, they are coming, most of the countries to come and be beggars, especially in Nigeria. Many of them are beggars in the street. Why? Yet there is a democracy or democratic governance going on in that area. Yet so many of them are beggars in the street of where they go.
Is that not?
Why are they beggars on the street of where they go? Because somebody is now given to them as a leader. That person is now the one that is exploiting and brainwashing them. That person is the one that is destroying and distracting everything that they do. So why do you think they will not rise up one day against that person? Be it the military that rose up against that person, be it, ordinary people calling for a revolution. It does not matter. The truth of the matter is that something like that is something that is inevitable. It is inevitable regardless of what you want to see it to be. It is inevitable. As long as you are an evil person, one day you will meet your Waterloo. As long as you are selfish, one day you are going to meet a matching situation to your selfishness. As long as you are a killer, one day you will meet somebody to kill you. That is the way it is. It is a law of nature. Change is the only thing that is constant in life, and that change is now coming close to Africa, and they are fighting it at all costs, creating shadow war. This is to show you that any leader in Africa that is telling you they will deploy military to go and stop the coup or to go and kill people in Niger Republic, believe you me, such leader is a Western stooge. They can never be a leader that will make the country go forward. They will never make the country go forward. They will always sabotage the country because they know they are in charge of the finance of the country. There is no country that cannot make their leaders very rich, regardless of how poor that country is. The leader will get very rich because that country in Africa is blessed with one or two resources that can make that country to be, the greatest. Imagine a most poorest countries in Africa call to sever a ties with the European nation. European nation said no. They are not even going to sever ties with them. Why aren't they severing ties with them? The reason because they are benefiting something that is, unimaginable from such area. That's why they will not want to sever ties with them. They don't want your policies in their countries anymore. They say they don't want your policies in their countries anymore. Now, let me list the countries that distance themselves from military attack on the people of Niger. Let me list for you. The name of West African countries that distance themselves from such activities of Niger Republic. Wait, let's see. One moment. All right. Yes, I believe now. Before we go to the reading, there is a video I want to show you. There is a video I want to show you so that you will understand exactly when Mazen Nnamdi Kanu came up to tell you that what the terrorists you see in Nigeria, it is actually government that is, sponsoring them. The government were the ones sponsoring this terrorism that you see in Nigeria. Terrorism. I want you to listen. Until
recently, under the leadership of Colonel Assimi Goïta, we realized that these terrorists are formed by Emmanuel Macron and her Western allies and SIA. Then we decided to remove their international organizations out of Mali, their embassies out of Mali, their military out of Mali, to break the supply chain of weapons, food, and their other necessary resources to fight us, to destabilize Africa. When we did that, we militarized the army of Mali. We then went to Russia.
Did you hear that?
With so many weapons. We went
that
to confront
was a terrorism
because now
a terrorism in Mali. But they only discovered that this terrorism was formed by Emmanuel Macron, which is Macron, the president of France, that is the one who is sponsoring all those terrorism that was happening. We saw the video, we saw the pictures, we saw the images that time, because this person is not talking rubbish. He knows exactly what he is saying. We saw everything that that actually contradict the activities of France in Mali. We saw them. We saw the things that pin that Emmanuel Macron with the activities of terrorism in the Mali, in that place. We saw the video. So, now, let us continue to listen for you to understand exactly what it looks like to fight terrorists that is deliberately used as a sabotage for a nation, so that they will be continuing giving you military support, military aid, while mining your resources in the name they are doing you a favor.
We know that the terrorist's mother is no longer in Mali. When we encountered the terrorists there, we taught them a lesson. You know what happened? The United Nations Human Rights Commission raised a red flag with an outcry that we in Mali are abusing human rights. You know the human rights for whom? For their children. Those terrorists that they formed and left there are the people that they're crying of, that we are abusing their human rights. But when they are terrorizing and you know the human rights for whom?
Did you see now? For you to understand that the policy that they will make for you will never work in your favor. The policies will always to work against you. They now introduce terrorism to Mali. When now the same thing they did in Libya. Listen. If I believe the same thing they did in Libya, Libya was a free country. Libya was a country that actually people that are living there were benefiting very well from there. They decided to, bring terrorism or bring a rebel group that is rebellion against the leadership, that is actually using his political will to help the country to grow and having a good initiative for African future. They now brought in those people called rebellion group. They call them, they are rebellious. They are rebellious to the government. They are terrorists. They were playing a terrorist game. Do you know what happened? As they were playing a terrorism game, what happens was that when the government of the day started fighting back, the NATO countries say now these people are violating, they are killing, they are committing crime, they are this, they are that. They move swiftly to go and kill Gaddafi. That was how they created one of the reasons why they killed Gaddafi. They say he is killing his own people, this and that. And so many people have that mind that it was such thing that led to the death of Mama Gaddafi, especially people in Europe. Ordinary people in Europe who did not know what transpired. They believe that Mama Gaddafi is a tyrant. They believe Mama Gaddafi is Adolf Hitler in Africa. That is exactly their belief. They decided to kill him. Obama helped them to do so. But Obama was not brought into was not asked why. No African leaders had ever asked Obama, or will ever ask Obama, why did you take the mission to kill Gaddafi? No African leader will ever stand up to ask Obama that question. Why? Because they are all in the same fraternity. Regardless of, as long as you see any of them that came up, especially in ECOWAS region, through a democratic process, so-called democratic process, because you know there is no democratic process. If there is a democratic process, they will treat you right, knowing that you will remove them. Because what they are, power mongers. A power monger will never try to do something that will jeopardize their position of power or leadership. That is the reason why they will treat you right. Because they know that there is nothing like democracy in Africa. That is the reason why they can do anything they want and get away with it. And that's why they're continuously doing it and dealing with you. There is no working democracy in Africa. And they continue to impose on us this democracy. Listen, let's continue.
Destabilize Africa every day for the advantage of the West to get cheaper resources and cheaper labor in Africa. They don't complain. They don't say anything. You not hear. Imagine a journalist from Europe. We are looking for terrorists, but a journalist from Europe can come with a camera and go and do a documentary inside a danger zone where there are terrorists. Where did he got the numbers of the terrorists? How does he or she have an access with the terrorists? Their non-governmental organizations are comfortable in the terrorist zone. What are they doing there? They are looking points and points and points and tagging where there are mineral resources and extract, using those terrorists to fund them with those money, destabilizing the people of Africa. Double standards. Imagine those terrorists, if they don't come in Africa armed, they will come as the journalists, as oppositional parties, as the advocates of human rights with their international organizations. If we arrest them on spying on us, you hear the outcry from their masters saying there is a human rights abuse in Africa. But they've kept Julian Assange for a long time after he has exposed them. And they even threatened to bomb ICC if ICC issues a warrant of arrest to any American citizen. Double standards. In Mali, we had a long problem of terrorism. Until recently, under the leadership of Colonel Assimi Goïta, we realized that, oh, these terrorists are formed by Emmanuel Macron and her Western allies and SIA. Then we decided to remove their international organizations out of Mali, their embassies out of Mali, their military out of Mali, to break the supply chain of weapons.
Now, this is exactly what is happened, or what is happening in Nigeria. It is exactly what is happening across the Sahel region. There will be a country that is within that borders of that particular countries that they will introduce terrorism to. That country will open their border to be supplying weapons. To be supplying weapons, for that for weapons to be going through their borders into the hands of these terrorists. That is the way they do it all the time. And you will be busy grappling with the terrorism, without you knowing that this is a deliberate. Terrorism does not just start. Terrorism is somebody who decided that they want to make sure that they will destroy your effort. Terrorism is always starting with oppressors. Terrorism is always starting with, exploiters. Anybody who want to exploit you, they implant terrorism in your country. Because they know that you don't have capacity to fight this terrorism. Or they will continue to tell you there is a rule of engagement. They will continue to tell you, no, don't kill these terrorists. These people, they are fighting for something cause. Don't kill them. Negotiate with them. But those who are really fighting for a just cause, who are not killing people, who does not carry arm, You don't need to negotiate with these people, because these people, their cause is very dangerous for you. If these people now, if you allow them, they will now escalate this problem, because it becomes a problem to you, becomes a matter to the particular leadership. That because they believe, they see danger of them losing that office where they are actually occupying. That is the reason why they will tell them, if you see those who are clamoring for a fair, equal opportunity, if you see those who are clamoring for change, if you do see those who are actually clamoring for self-determination, kill them, open fire on them. Don't even negotiate with them, because if you negotiate with them, another people is going to rise up, and you will continue to negotiate until you lose everything. That is exactly what it looks like they are being told. That is the reason why in Nigeria you have seen in several locations, when they see terrorists, they don't kill terrorists. They negotiate with terrorists. When they see people protesting, they shoot at those people protesting. Is it not what happens? They will shoot at you protesting. They will not shoot at terrorists. They will pick them up, put them in jail. After 2 months, they will even open a rehabilitation center and give to them. They rehabilitate them. From there, they told them, since you know how to shoot gun, we are putting you in the military formation, and we have a special assignment for you. Go down to the eastern region of Nigeria. You go there, you start killing people, burn their houses, anyhow you want it. It is obtainable. It is always these initiatives, they are not coming from those people we are calling their names. It is just that it is their fingerprint that we found in the scene of the crime. It is their fingerprints that is found in the scene of the crime. Fulanis are not that evil people. Fulanis, they are not that evil people. But they are so, weak that they will be used. Mental weakness and mental toughness. It is very, very significant to these colonialists. Very, very important to them. Because when they discover your mental weakness, they will use it against you. When they understand your mental toughness, they will use the people who has mental weakness to destroy your mental toughness. That is exactly what they are doing. That's why they will bring these people, these particular people, who they know very well that they have mental weakness. They use them to establish their oligarch. They use them to establish their intimidation. They use them to establish their economic sabotage. That is what Fulanis are being used by Britain to do today. It is motivation. Your mental weakness, give them the authority to now motivate you and give you money, give you gun to tell you to go and kill other people. We will protect you. We run this nation. We will protect you. If you are captured, as long as you are not killed, you will be protected. That's what they tell them. And you see governors promoting, don't kill them, negotiate with them. These are terrorists too. Don't kill them, negotiate with them. Terrorists. But you have to kill somebody who is advocating for change. You have to go out there and kidnap somebody who is advocating for change. That has been what is coming up tonight. What is happening in Nigeria today. And the same Nigeria who actually does not understand how democracy, is run. That under democracy, you are abiding, you are actually abiding to the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. You are a signatory to the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, where you will grant people right to protest, right to believe, right to life, right to exercise, right to civil disobedience, which is right to protest. These rights are there automatically for people. But they made sure that this right does not exist, because if it exists, you will stand up to remove a leader who is not doing something great. That's why they make sure that they remove this rights, that it will never come in existence, because it is a bad business for them and it is a good business for you. That's why they empower your leaders. That's why they give police and army to Fulani. Police and army to Fulani, to empower them, to take care of those who have mental toughness, who cannot be convinced to do something dreadful as they are. So upon seeing that, you as a person who is a citizen of that country, you will not stand up to speak against it and call for a change, because you are scared you might be the victim. You will be scared all your life and you will continue to be the victim without even doing anything. That is the type of system they have actually implemented. System that oppress the, already oppressed. System that, bring you down to the, to the lowest term, that you will not even know that laws is applicable to the leadership. That's a system that made you and instill in your mind that laws is not applicable to the leadership, that the leadership is never equal with you. Now, just like you have heard, they purposely create terrorism to use it to destroy you, to use it to kill ordinary people, because that terrorism is what makes them, what they use to bring chaos to the country, while reducing your numbers, while displacing you, and they grant you asylum in the Europe, because they have to control you. When you are in Europe, you are under their bondage, under their control. So it is a double-edged sword. They want you to run away from there, come to where they will be controlling you, while they are controlling your leaders as well, because your leaders will be dependent on them to even access hospital. Your leaders will be dependent on them to even, feel what it looks like to have a good infrastructure. Your leaders will be dependent on them to buy mansions in a place where there is security, so that once they retire, they run overseas. That is one thing that you see. Who is buying the stolen goods of Africa? It is the Europe and the China. They are buying the stolen goods of Africa. Both the ones that are stealing by themselves and the ones they are stealing through their proxy, which is your president. That is exactly what's going on. They are stealing through your leaders, through the members of parliament. That is what they do. They are stealing through them. Until African people understand this, they are not going nowhere. You are not going anywhere. You are not making any progress. You must be able to understand that the system that they have created and integrated you into, that system will never stand to help anybody. That system will never stand to actually be profitable to anybody. That system, it is a killing machine. That system, it is impoverishing machine. It will impoverish you until thy kingdom come if you do not try to fight the system and bring revolution. Because if they say democracy is the best, then you find a way to revolutionize this democracy, because since you don't have your own initiative or freedom of making a decision, what type of a governance you want to form, what type of a structure you need to have, what type of policies you need to make, try to, revolutionize that which is not working for you, but is working for others. You find a way to bring revolution to it. But has any African leader tried to do, any African, leader try to bring that revolution? No, because it will stop them from exploitation. It will stop their economic exploitation on their own people. Black on black violence. Black on black violence. So, that is exactly one thing that you need to understand. Now, you have seen that many countries from ECOWAS, they are having a cold feet from invading Niger. They are having a cold feet because we are speaking. We are speaking. If we are not speaking, if we were not speaking, you will have seen these countries being like zombies. That is not, zombies, they only move when their master asks them to move. They can never make decision of their own will or their own accord. There must be somewhere where that decision they are making is going to come from. So that is exactly, now we have our consciousness awoken and we are making it available, this, knowledge of new consciousness. It is affecting them. They are listening. And they could see the danger they are, what they are doing is posing on their future or the future of their countries. Any leaders who is still a puppet to the Western, imperialist, that leader deserves to see, to be removed and, strip him of everything that is called, that is called leadership, or even he cannot work even for government because he will still be used wherever he finds himself. Even if he finds himself in a very small position, he will be used from that small position to attack. So those type of people, you actually banish them. You banish them. That is the reason why when you do corruption in China, is it in China that when you are a leader, you do corruption, you'll be killed? Or is it in China? Those are the type of things that our, those people we give position of leadership in Africa. Those are type of system that we need to implement. Since it has been like this, it continues to get worse. If you steal state funds, you will be killed by hanging. Even though they will start saying it is a human right abuse. Why should you steal a state fund that will be able to build a hospital to cater for, millions of people? Aren't you killing these millions of people when they don't have, hospital infrastructure? How? You deserve to die because you are a killer. Thank you very much, Chinasa Pauline. It is in China. Any system that will continue, that will, be, implemented to deal with the leadership, to be the watchdogs of the leadership. Who watches the watchman? Any system that will be implemented to oversight on the activities of the leaders. Such system must be brutal and zero tolerance to those leaders. Because if you give them a breather, if you give them a breathing space, they will destroy everything, the countries, they will be used. China, they kill anybody who steals from them, from the state. In Europe, they jail anybody who steals from the state. In Africa, they promote and praise everybody who steals from the state. How do you think you will be able to compete with these people? Because they will see you as a monkey. Maybe you are still, you didn't come from Homo sapien. You came from Homo erectus. You deserve to be in the zoo or in the bush. You are not a Homo sapien. You are Homo erectus. You are not part of this world. That's what they will see you to be. Why would they want to make you a permanent member of a Security Council? Because you don't think like a human being. You think like an animal. There is nothing that is between, there is nothing that will make animal and human to have equal right. Animals are at the mercy of human. So, you are at their mercy. Everything you own, they control. They make use of it. They sell it for you. They, even if you have to sell it, they tell you how much you will sell it and the quantity of it you will sell. Why is that? Because you are less human than them. And it is only because you continue to recycle your failure. You continue to recycle your criminal leaders. That's why Donald Trump called Africa shithole. Because a nations that celebrate a criminal who stole from them. That is your leader. Every atrocities that is happening on the ground, be it kidnapping, criminality, everything, it has a lot to do with your leader. It has a lot to do with your leader. It is only your leader that will give account. So, people in the ECOWAS region decided to say, no, we have to try a new thing. And they decided to try new things. They decided to remove that president who is a criminal by force. Some people from Nigeria who does not have, the principle of calling for change, who does not have the backbone to call for change, because they are actually, very, very happy in their, deadly comfort zone. They are navigating their deadly comfort zone. They keep quiet. They will never do anything that is going to be significant. They keep quiet and they watch all these things playing out. They will not do anything about it. You know why? Because they are stooge. You were not created to make any difference. You were not created to be, progressive. You are created to be made, a profit-making machine for a cheap labor. That's what you are there for. They created the system you are sitting on. That system is the problem. And they named that system Nigeria. That is the only one problem you have in that Nigeria. The system is called Nigeria. Until you change that system, move away from that system, move away from the one they implemented when they came, and move back to the one you had that actually attracts them to look for you. You move back to that one because it will help you. It is compatible with your spirituality. It is compatible with your energy. It is compatible with your type of thinking. It is compatible with your ways of life. That is the way you will be able to, flourish. So that is the reason why we continue to give our support to any country who made a coup in that ECOWAS and remove their leader, because there is no leader in ECOWAS. Starting from the biggest of them or to the smallest of them, all of them are, they are evil. Chad said they will not intervene in the coup in the defense. The defense minister said they will not intervene in the coup in neighboring Niger. the country defense minister said. Now, West African defense chief plan out possible intervention that they will use. Now, Benin urges diplomatic solution after Niger coup. Benin foreign minister on Friday said diplomacy should be the preferred solution to the coup in Niger, while pledging Cotonou full support for West African bloc ECOWAS effort to resolve the crisis. The position of ECOWAS, which Benin adheres, is to free and reinstate President Bazoum Olusegun Adjadi Bakari told a media briefing in Cotonou, though he suggested that could change ongoing diplomatic actions remain the preferred solution for all for the moment. But if tomorrow, whatever action ECOWAS takes, Benin would align itself with that action as an ECOWAS member, Bakari said. The ECOWAS Economic Community of West Africa State, ECOWAS, chaired by Nigeria, has imposed tough sanctions on Niamey, but also sent delegation Thursday to meet junta representatives after Niger's military removed elected President Mohamed Bazoum on July 26. ECOWAS, whose delegation failed to meet with coup leader Abdurrahman Diani, has given the military rulers until Sunday to put Bazoum back in post and warned it could otherwise intervene. So Sunday is tomorrow. We are waiting to hear the bombs going off from ECOWAS bloc to ordinary people who are staying in Niger, including people living, people of ECOWAS region who cross over to Niger to find a greener opportunity. Listen to this. Niger ambassador to finance insists she's still in post despite the coup. Niger ambassador to finance, this, said he is still a president. He is still in position or in post despite the coup. Niger's ambassador to finance on Friday insisted she was still in her post despite the coup in the West African country, saying she remained loyal to detained President Mohamed Bazoum. Aichato Bolama Kane, who has been in her job since July 2022, said she rejected as null and void. She rejected as null and void an order by the coup leaders to end her mandate, as well as those of the Niger ambassadors to Nigeria, Togo, and the United States. So, they are not adhesive to the order of the day by the new government that has taken over the stooge of the West. They are not adhering to the order. They say they are still in their position. No problem. But they are in their position. Niger leader never even concede. Yet they have imposed sanction on Niger. So imposing sanction on a leader who did not concede, what does that mean? Does that make any sense to you? Because even imposing sanction on the same country where you claim you are fighting to reinstate a system of government that exploits people, because you are fighting such, you impose sanction on them. Not even waiting for the leader to concede, you have imposed sanction on them. That is to show you how a black people, they actually abuse the power that is given to them. Once you give a power to a black man, they abuse it. And the people who will stand behind them to tell them abuse it, do it like that, are the same people who give them that power. And that is not the way them themselves do it from their own end. They do it differently from their own end. But they will want the leaders that is coming from Africa to abuse their own power. And they will advise them that your people behave differently. If you don't abuse this power this way, you will never get it right. So, we are waiting. They said it is on Sunday. They are giving them till Sunday to come up, to vacate and go back to the military base. Tinubu gave them until Sunday. Tinubu, Nigeria, illegitimate Tinubu, gave them until Sunday to vacate or face the wrath of 150,000 serving military in Nigeria, because they saw that the serving military in Niger Republic is only 10,000. That's why they were issuing threats left, right, and center. They were issuing threats left, right, and center, issuing even sanction on them. Look at it. Niger ambassador to France insists she's still in post despite coup. These are stooge. Niger ambassador despite coup in the West African country, saying she still remains loyal to the detained President Mohamed Bazoum. These are selected people who were placed. They don't want to know how people are faring, how people are enjoying. Because myself, if I did not see people of Niger doing protest in solidarity with the military, I was not going to come out here and support them. But as long as I saw such, I know that power belongs to the people. This is still democracy going on. It is the people's choice that is taking place. So as long as I have seen that, I will continue to give them my support until I see otherwise. That is exactly what is driving this support that I am giving them. And any other person in their right state of mind that understand the predicament of Africa will actually stretch their hand and they give that support to these people. Because they deserve it. You could be you tomorrow. You cannot see where they are burying your own, brother or sibling. Incorrectly, you will be laughing. Not knowing that, it might come to you at some point. So we are giving, Niger our support. We are giving them our support. The people of Niger, ordinary people of Niger, because we know what people are passing through in that ECOWAS region. We know the torture. We know the infringement on human rights. We know the economic sabotage. We know the terrorism. We know we know everything. So when people rise up to take their power by the, take their power to their, decide their future by themselves, we give them our support. That is the way it is. Let me continue to read. Achioto Bolo McCain, who has been in her job since 2002, rejected. Okay, I think I have read this. The notification by purchased to put an end to her mandate was taken by illegitimate authority. I am the ambassador of Niger in France, she added. She is not just ambassador of Niger to France. She is the stooge to Emmanuel Macron. That is, she is the stooge of Emmanuel Macron. France says only legitimate Niger government can cut military ties. This is exactly the one I read previously. This is it. I've reflected on this one too. That Niger called for the cutting of ties with France. France refused to say, no, we are not cutting ties with this you. This is the poorest country in Africa. Why is France forcing it? That they don't want to cut ties with them, but they have cut off the, financial support that they give them. Yet they don't want to cut ties with them. Is that not telling you something? France on Friday rejected the Niger junta's move to scrap bilateral military pact, saying the West Africa country legitimate leadership alone was entitled to do so. The legal framework of France's defense agreement with Niger is based on accords that were signed with the legitimate Nigerian authority. The foreign minister said after the junta in Niamey said it was cancelling military cooperation agreement with Paris. Germany urges continued mediation effort with the Niger junta. Okay, continuous mediation effort with the Niger junta. Germany foreign minister on Friday urged continuous mediation effort with Niger's junta after West African delegation failed to secure the return to power of the country's elected government. It is important that we give space for mediation effort. A foreign ministry spokesman in Berlin told press briefing, "We hope that they can lead to a successful end, a political solution." Even a German person, understand that it is a political solution. But people who are around Niger, they are sharpening their sword. Tinubu, illegitimate president of Nigeria, is sharpening his sword to go for war. When he never went for war against Boko Haram, killing people in the north. Does that mean that those people that are being killed in the north, their life does not matter? The president of Niger Republic to go back to office, the life of his matters than the life of those who are dying in the hands of terrorism. Isn't that a serious madness? Okay, now let's see what Kremlin said. Kremlin says, this is Russia, says foreign intervention will not resolve Niger crisis. Russia said on Friday outside intervention would not improve the situation in Niger after toppled President Mohamed Bazoum called on the United States and international community to help restore constitutional order. Wow. It is unlikely that the intervention of any extra-regional force can change the situation for the better, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov told journalists, adding that Russia was monitoring the situation very closely and concerned about the tension arising in the region. They are concerned. They know that it is a political solution that will help them to thrive. Negotiation, coming to a drawing board. If the people say they want to cut ties with France, then you cut ties with France. If the people say they want to cut ties with USA, you cut ties with USA. If the people say they don't want that president anymore, then you remove that president for them. After all, we are under Chichonye Kuucheya. A leadership say your mind. Democracy. So why can't those things be obtainable? So you go to dialogue. You grant the people what they want. That is democratic dispensation. Because Nigeria knows that they don't go to dialogue to ask the people who are, or you said, you go to these people that are not happy. A disgruntled, majority of Nigeria protesting. You go to this disgruntled, majority, you ask them, what can we do for you? How do we make it work? You will not. They will tell you, don't do it. Kill them. If you kill one or two, they will capitulate. They think this killing of one or two is still going to work in our situation. If you don't kill us all, we will continue to come. That is most important thing that they need to understand. Before China, get their, independence, before China had, during the Chinese Revolution, many died. So there must be sacrifice before we'll get that better future that we are coming back to enjoy. That sacrifice is what the Niger people are going to make. That sacrifice is what Nigeria people are supposed to be calling to make. But you are so scared. I don't know a poor man so scared more than the rich man. A poverty makes you so scared because a rich man, when they look at their money, they say that money can buy them everything. They kill you. Money will buy will bribe my way out of the court's room. But they made you poor so that you will continue to be scared. You will not stand to challenge the rich man. Anybody that is seen rich around you becomes omnipotent to you. It is a system that needs to be abolished. It is a system that must be abolished if you want a better life, if you want a better future. Such system must be destroyed for you to obtain this better life and better future. EU strongly condemns blocking of France 24 and RFI in Niger. The European Union on Friday strongly condemned the blocking of French media broadcast in Niger, where last week's coup sparked protest against the country's former colonial ruler. Did you see? Spark up protest. He didn't say spark up protest against the coup plotters. He said he sparked off protest against these French colonial rulers, because it is that colonial leadership that is actually causing every poverty, every terrorism, every sabotage that is going on in Niger. So that's why there is a protest going on. Now, I want us to actually listen to one thing before we close. There is something Julius Malema said. That is what we are going to listen to now. Then we call it a day. Let's pay attention to such. He said some interesting things, but I didn't carry it off to, so that it will start from the point I wanted him to start from. But of course, we might actually play it all.
Ambassador of the Netherlands in this country. I think without any doubt, the energy crisis is top of mind for most South Africans.
Listen.
So what's the plan of the EFF for ending load shedding? Thank you.
President, my name is Håkan Juhl, the Swedish ambassador, and since EFF is known as an international movement, I would like to know more about your closest ally, on the European and Asian continent when it comes to political movements that you share values with?
We cannot destroy our base to appease USA and the UK. If the green gives me 2,000 megawatts, whatever I'm going to decommission should be giving me 2,000 megawatts or even less.
Correct.
So I know I decommission this one and the alternative is this one, and therefore I don't run short of what I'm requiring to sustain the economy.
That is a person or a leader who actually negotiate the success. Just like I've told you, they have been exploiting your oil, your crude oil. They are now done exploiting your crude oil. It is now uranium, because you are now growing wise on what crude oil is and what it can be used for. They want to do away with it, while forcing you to go into a greener energy, which you have not been introduced to. They have to create it, a money-making scheme. They tell you climate is sick. Climate is sick. They are still using this thing in the highest scale, while you haven't even started using it. Tell you don't use it, though. Don't use it. Don't use fossil fuel, carbon emitted emission engine. Don't use them. That is exactly what Commander Malema is doing here. That's what he's saying. Listen to it.
Economy of South Africa and to give our people a reliable electricity. So we also are going to stop this thing of taking out our clean energy, our clean coal to outside countries and leaving us here with a dirty coal and being told we are polluting. The pollution, whether it happens in China, whether it happens in the UK, whether it happens in Germany, whether it happens in the USA, is going to affect us even here in South Africa. So why is there a story that we must not use coal in South Africa, yet we see tons and millions of tons being taken out of South Africa?
This is exactly what you heard from me a few days ago. This is exactly what we talked about a few days ago. They will be making use of a coal power plant. They make use of coal power plant, make use of fossil fuel, which is coal, make use of your crude oil, and they will use it to build new energy. Now they will tell you, no, you can't make use of these things. They are not good for you. They are not good for the climate. The climate is sick. Please don't use it. But they are still using it in high scale. How do you now tell yourself that these people are thinking for your growth? And your leaders, when they listen to it, they just agree. Yes, oh yes, members. That is the reason why, I am following and paying attention to people who are objective. People who negotiate rationally, not with their emotions. Not people who media house, law or push to what they need to do. Because a lot of some of the leaders, media is the one who drives their agenda. Media. Listen.
Where are they going? The story should not be let's decommission coal power stations. The story should be coal because it's not clean and it's not good for the environment. Let's stop mining coal at all. So no one uses coal.
Correct.
It can't be that South Africa must not use coal, but other people are using coal. It's wrong. So there's no coal that is going to live here. We're going to make sure that we produce enough and reliable and clean coal.
It is like telling you stop using carbon emission cars, but they're still valuing your crude oil. Telling you that the use of fuel, petrol, and diesel. They are actually, polluting the climate. Now, but they are still buying your fuel, putting the prices cheap, buying it. He is telling you that, why are you buying my coal? When you say coal is polluting the climate, you are buying my coal. For goodness sake, what are you doing with it? And you are telling me not to use it to, generate energy for my people. So that's exactly the logic. Are you now understanding, what's going on in Africa? Dictatorship coming from the West to you. They dictate for you. Don't use this thing, but they don't live by example. There is a saying that says a leader must lead by example, but not these Western people who call themselves the leader. They don't lead, by example that Africa may follow suit. They tell you don't do this, but they are the doers of such things. Listen how he put them in their place.
And will engage with our own allies in the form of China and all of to come with new technology to deal with emission.
Correct.
So we need to make sure that which we say other people must not do, we don't do ourselves. Because to ask of us to self-destruct and use us as an experiment in exchange for money and to killing of our people, because this load shedding has killed a lot of people here in South Africa, has killed a lot of businesses here in South Africa, and you can all feel it. Yet we must be the first ones to be used as an experiment. You need a very firm leadership that will prioritize the interest of the country before any other thing and not sell the country to the highest bidder. Our alliances are naturally the leftist countries. China is one of the countries we look up to. Cuba is one of the countries we look up to. And Russia, we've got historical ties with it. We know that Putin is not at the left, but his attitude against imperialist forces finds resonance with the EFF. And those are the kind of people will rely on. BRICS is one such a structure that we regard very highly, and we see the emergence of BRICS as an alternative platform to engage in the geopolitics. And those are the type of progressive structures that the EFF will align with. We make no apology with our alliance with China, because we believe that China can help us even with load shedding. We need a government that has got interests and that negotiate good terms.
Negotiation, very important.
To China, build it, operate it, and hand it over to South Africa. The Chinese will never refuse to do that. They've never refused to do that. But because we're hell-bent at our alliances with the West and America, we've missed opportunities to strengthen our own economy through fostering working relationship with countries that will not destroy us. China is not going to colonize Africa. The problem is your corrupt leaders who go to China with empty bags.
Correct.
And come back with money. They want money and they negotiate with money.
Did you see? This was what we talked about. That we don't have problem Chinese ship docking in Nigeria. We don't have problem Chinese doing many things for you or doing many things for Africa. But the problem we have, what are you bringing to the table for China? Because you cannot be, always be taking money from people. You'll be taking, every time it's all about you coming to beg. You don't actually create a situation whereby you give me this, I give you that. Or you give me that, I give you this. Very simple. You give me technology, I give you uranium. I pay you with uranium that you don't have. You give me these machineries, I give you coal that I have that you don't have. We counterbalance. It is not, or you build my railway, I actually supply you oil, crude oil. How do you negotiate? How do you negotiate? That is something very, very important. You go to China with empty bags, you come back with money. Why do you think that China gave you that money? Because there is something they want to also exploit from you. But you think you are intelligent. You know, when you think you are intelligent, you are not open to to objectivity. It is a very, very bad thing that is happening to African leaders. They think they are intelligent. They go to China, they get money back. They go to US, they get money back. Go to Britain, they get money back. They will tell themselves, no, we are intelligent. These white people, they are not intelligent. You don't know you are a fool. A big fool. But you are looking at these white people, you think they are not intelligent. When they are using your brain, that your small, selfish brain you have, they use it because what they are buying you that time, they are paying upfront. The most important thing that you possess, and they are paying it as a black market because they paid upfront, bribing you so that when they come in, they take it free of charge, no question asked. So let's continue to listen.
Money in their mind. So you come to me like that, I will also dribble you. So go there with proper ideas, not with corrupt mentality. There's no China that wants to colonize anyone. How do you get colonized now when you are the negotiator? South Africa has surrendered a port now in Durban now. That's colonialism. Where you just take your port and give it to other people, surrendering your sovereignty, and later you're going.
Just one moment. I think I'm
going to say people have colonized you. When you go to China and say, give us a power station in exchange for OR Tambo Airport, why would they miss that opportunity? It's not them, it's your stupidity as leaders. There's no policy of China. We've gone through it many times that seeks to colonize anyone. But if people go there with better ideas, it's not a problem of China.
Correct.
It's their own problem.
Correct.
No socialist organization, and socialism teaches us that. But we can't engage in imperialist program. We can't engage in colonialist program. We intervene where necessary, and intervention does not mean interference.
Correct.
And that's what it inspires, that relationship with countries like China and Cuba too. The Cubans, you go to them, you seek solution, they will provide it. And then they don't say, give us this, give us that. It's South Africa that says, in exchange, we'll give you this. And when we give the Cubans the money that we are giving them, when we get accused, we over-explain ourselves that which we offered to the Cubans. The money to Cuba is not necessarily to pay for the doctors. It's a solidarity fund. We're in solidarity with Cuba, and we'll double that money when we take over government. Because Cuba did not give us money. It gave us life. People died fighting for our democracy. Why should we be told by people who oppressed us that Cuba joined us to fight against how we must relate with Cuba? We cannot allow that. The war in Mozambique is exactly what I spoke about. But the problem, you are right, is this foreign interests that are interfering and even sponsoring.
Always the case. Always the case.
In Mozambique. We should not, as Africans, anyway, because we are rejected, we are hated everywhere.
Correct.
We should not find it easy to fight with each other. It must be the most painful and the most difficult thing for an African to take up guns and shoot at another African.
Correct.
Because if others can do it, they will do it with easy. It must be difficult for us. We are hated everywhere in the world.
True.
We're treated like we're not human beings.
Correct.
Why should we treat each other like that ourselves? That's why the EFF here in South Africa is told every time that we won't vote for you because you want foreigners in our country, you protect foreigners in our country. So be it. We're not going to kill Africans in exchange for votes. I will rather stay at home in the villages because that is not just us. So we are for Africans, and Africans everywhere must always find African solution to their problems without Sassol's interference, without France interference, without British interference.
Good one.
We need to sit down and find solutions of Africa by Africans and not this borrowed interference that we see all the time. So we're aware of what's happening in Mozambique, and we will make sure that the government of the EFF finds an African solution which is going to be permanent and not driven by foreign company or multinational companies' interest. Well, Panyaza is doing what he has to do because he can see that the ANC is in danger. He's trying to save it. That is an act of desperation. People, and then the next thing.
I think we have heard it. The reason why I saw this video and I say I must bring it to play it also, because it is people of like mind. People of like mind. Many people are actually advocates of African decolonization, African unity, African unification. Many people are advocates of that. But I choose those whom I also, share their, ideology. When you understand the truthfulness in their ideology, that is exactly when he talked about how our leaders negotiate with the foreign, policy or foreign countries. That is exactly when you will know that, he knows exactly what is going on. This is exactly what we talk about here every day. How they negotiate. So that you will hear it from another person. Very, very important. What do you have on the table? So in this regard, in a situation whereby your leader does not want to put everything on the table, but they want to continue to be collecting from international world, now, it is now that time that you need to rise up and demand for what is rightfully yours. Go back to the status quo, because you have tried this type of situation, this type of relationship in the last 60 years. It has never worked for you. And you try to actually change it by protest, they kill you. So what else are you going to do? It is actually call for a referendum. Let people decide, do we still want to be with this stooge of neo-colonialists? Or do we want to actually, determine our future by ourselves? Do you want to hand over to your hands your future instead of allowing people to manage your future for you? That you may send your children out there to abroad. Some of them walk through the Mediterranean Sea or through the Sahara Desert. They die there. Especially people from ECOWAS region. They are looking for where to run at any time. Because there is no good governance in ECOWAS region. There is no good governance. Even their chair now, the giant, they are the most influential place which is Nigeria, in ECOWAS region. If they call Nigeria the most influential in ECOWAS region, don't you know that you have a problem? A Nigeria system that has never worked for anybody that dwell in it. How can it be influential? Nigeria system that kill people when they come out to protest. Nigerian people that jail people who call out for a national cake to be divided equally. a Nigeria system that kills people who believe in self-determination, a Nigeria system that does not want people to have a referendum to decide who they want to be or what name they want to call themselves. Such system is abomination and must be abolished. And we're going to leave it here until we meet again. Stay safe. Stay informed.